Do you suffer from menstrual abnormalities in thyroid disease? Maybe hypo or hyperthyroidism, and you have no idea what to do, you don't know what's causing it, and you're searching for tips and tricks on how to fix it so you can finally feel better. Well, believe me or not, but this is actually a very common problem among women, especially the ones who suffer from PCOS and thyroid disease. So that's why I would like to give you the most common causes and fixes for this problem, so make sure to stay until the end of this video. First and most common cause of irregular periods or maybe even not having periods, so-called amenorrhea, is of course stress. Stress affects pretty much all of your hormones, specifically cortisol, which is produced in your adrenal glands. If you have too much of this so-called stress hormone, so cortisol, this affects your hypothalamus, and hypothalamus is a structure inside your brain that is responsible for the proper regulation of your hormones that are needed for menstruation. So if you don't have a proper work of adrenal glands, your hypothalamus becomes imbalanced, dysregulated, and that's why you may be having, for example, too low estrogen levels or too high progesterone levels, and vice versa. And this may be causing this, irregularity of your menstrual cycle. Not to mention that if you already suffer from thyroid disease, this just, makes everything worse, because thyroid hormones are responsible for the proper control of your reproductive system. So if you don't have enough of the T3 or T4, you may be suffering from regular periods or, for example, also heavy bleeds. These kind of things are pretty common, and in order to fix them, you have to focus on both decreasing stress, both emotional and physical stress, but also on working on your thyroid disease itself. So how can you fix emotional and physical stress? So the first thing is you shouldn't be under eating. I see many often women who join our programs, they are like, I want to go super low in calories, less than 1300, 1200, but you have to understand that this is very bad in thyroid disease for the two reasons. The first one is you don't get enough of the thyroid hormone production, and you need these thyroid hormones to control your reproductive system. And the second problem is that if you are continuing this under eating for a longer time, this really affects your reproductive system itself. So you may not, for example, produce enough estrogen, and that's why you are having this hormonal problem, and this is causing your irregular periods. So undereating is said to be a stress-producing thing, and if you are using this for a week, it's fine. But if you are continuing for a couple weeks and you are continuously undereating, running low in calories, this really creates tons of stress for your adrenal glands, for your hypothalamus, for your hormones, and this is not good, guys. So the solution to that is to eat at least 1600 calories. So you are making sure that you are, at least fitting your daily requirements for the calories. I usually recommend even more. I usually recommend like 1800, 1900 kilocalories, and just add some physical activity. Second most common cause of stress is over-exercising. Believe me or not, but some of us tend to over-exercise, especially if we are very, in love with gym. And if you over-exercise, if you exercise like every day, you have these crazy workouts, like more than 1 hour, which is not good for you in thyroid disease nor PCOS. This may eventually put your hormones in imbalance, both the thyroid hormones, but also your, stress hormone, which is cortisol again. And this affects also your hypothalamus. You are, all stressed out, and that's why your estrogen and progesterone again is imbalance. So this is the, second most common cause. And the third one is, of course, emotional stress. So if you are non-stop, stressed about your work, about maybe your family members, maybe something happened, unfortunately, if it happened, I'm very sorry. You have to work on this. You have to be proactive. You don't have to, get depressed, and I understand that it affects you, but you have to be proactive, and you have to, for example, practice, brisk walking, meditation, yoga. These kind of things will help you to calm you down, and also help your hypothalamus to, not be that much affected by stress, and this in turn will help you to produce enough levels of estrogen, progesterone, and also testosterone. Okay, so this is very, very important. Another common reason of irregular periods is birth control pill, and specifically getting off this medication. But why is it so? Well, anytime you're taking this pill, you're actually suppressing your natural hormone production, and I know that not many doctors speak about it, but anytime you are stopping the pill because you don't want it, you don't need it, you may actually develop irregular periods. So you have to be aware of this. Anytime a doctor advises you to take this pill, you have to think twice, because probably there is some alternative way, most probably, of fixing your hormones and balancing them. So make sure to consult a good functional medicine physician so he can help you to balance these hormones, rather than jumping to taking the pill right away, right? So this is one of the most common really reasons of having irregular periods. Another very common cause can be gluten sensitivity. So anytime you're having a thyroid disease, most probably you are also sensitive to gluten. There is a big chance. And believe me or not, but the tests that serve us to check for gluten intolerance and sensitivity are not enough accurate. So anytime you're taking this test, there is a huge chance that this may actually show you false negative. So meaning that it shows that you don't have gluten sensitivity, while in the reality you have it. So as a good rule of thumb, it's actually good to get off any gluten source in thyroid disease to decrease inflammatory state, to help your thyroid gland, to help your gut. And in this way, you're also optimizing your hormones and your reproductive health, so you don't have to suffer from irregular periods. And one more cause can be PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. If you're not familiar with this is usually diagnosed as high insulin levels and high testosterone. All of these things may put your estrogen and progesterone in imbalance, and in turn this may affect your ovaries, and that's why you're suffering from irregular periods. So now I would like to speak on how to fix all of these things so you can finally feel better and get rid of irregular periods. So the first remedy, which is actually super simple, is a dietary change. What do I mean by this? Well, you have to go with healthy fats and not carbohydrates, because anytime you're consuming even these healthy carbohydrates, like for example white potatoes or sweet potatoes, they are not really optimal in thyroid or like other hormonal disorders. Rather, you want to go with healthy fats, like for example avocados or coconut oil or extra virgin olive oil, or like some fish, like for example wild caught salmon, because from fats you are making your hormones. So you have to give your body enough of the healthy fats to produce healthy hormones. Anytime you're going with high protein diet or tons of carbs, this will not really help your hormones, especially if you're suffering from PCOS. This may just create additional insulin spike and blood sugar in dysregulation, and this is not really good for you. So choose healthy fats rather than carbohydrates and protein. Second important thing is that you have to optimize your stress levels. So make sure to implement some yoga, deep breathing, meditation. In this way you can decrease your cortisol and stress levels, so your hormones work much better. Also, supplements like for example adaptogenic herbs or for example melatonin can help you to improve your sleep and decrease stress, and in this way again you are decreasing cortisol levels. If you are searching for a great formula, check out our shop h-boss.com. We have a formula called Calm and Sleep, and this has been specifically formulated for stress, anxiety, but also sleep problems, which are common in thyroid disease, and again they are associated with irregular periods. Another great supplement for irregular periods is evening Primrose Oil. Specifically, it's good for those of you who suffer from PMS or PCOS and you're also having irregular periods. And take around 1000 milligrams after the dinner or divide it during your day into 2 doses, and this should also help you to improve fertility, decrease inflammation, and improve your symptoms in PMS, PCOS, and also specifically irregular periods. Another great supplement is vitamin D. Vitamin D is important for your inflammation levels. So if you are not having enough of the vitamin D, like for example your levels are very low, like 15 or 20, you may be developing high inflammatory state, which is not good for your hormones and for your reproductive health, and that's why you're maybe suffering from irregular periods. So in order to fix it, make sure that your levels of vitamin D are at least 55 to 60 nanograms per milliliter, especially if you're suffering from thyroid disease, PCOS or PMS, because those diseases are specifically connected to immune system, and if your immune system is not working properly and you don't have enough vitamin D, that's why you may be suffering from symptoms. So check your vitamin D levels and supplement if needed. Then we have essential oils that are great for decreasing inflammation and decreasing your stress, which can be helpful for irregular periods. Oils like for example clary sage or lavender, they help to regulate your estrogen levels, and this can be helpful for irregular periods. The way you can use them, you can actually rub 2 to 3 drops just before going to bed with 1 tablespoon of coconut oil, and you rub it to your belly. In this way this gets absorbed. Just make sure that you are using therapeutic grade of oils to prevent some side effects and complications, and this helps your body to decrease inflammation. Or you can just put couple drops with water to the diffuser, and you just actually inhale it before going to bed. This also helps. When it comes to some specific oils, like for example thyme oil, you have to be careful because this oil actually increases progesterone levels. So if you already have high progesterone, this may harm you more than help you. So just go with these two that I've stated, you know, the lavender and clary sage, that are safe when it comes to side effects and possible complications, because they in general help to balance estrogen levels. Then we have two more herbs, which are chestberry and black cohosh. Both of them are great when it comes to irregular periods. You can try to start slow by adding, you know, one of them to your regime, and then if this doesn't help, you can actually be using another one in combination, of course, to the therapies that I've stated before. Just remember to start slow. Don't use, you know, all of them at once, because this may also overwhelm you. So just start slow, choose, you know, 1, 2, 3 supplements, and then add others if needed. And if this doesn't help you, you may benefit from testing your health with functional medicine tests, like for example Dutch tests. In this way, you are getting the full, you know, spectrum, like what's wrong with your body and what's good in your body. And in this way, you can optimize the things that are wrong, like for example too high DHEAS or too low DHEA, like, you know, things like this. All of these hormones are very important for your reproductive health, and there is no really other way of doing this. You can of course go with conventional medicine, but we both know that these tests are not really specific, and even your doctor may tell you that it's all good, you know, it's probably in your head. In reality, most probably you have some imbalances in your hormones that require to be balanced with, you know, specific supplementation in order to, you know, get rid of these irregular periods and to feel better. So guys, that's everything in this video. If you have some questions, just comment below, and see you in the next video.